good afternoon and welcome back to the Cincinnati Kids Vintage Baseball Card Channel, where stories, history, cards, both yours and mine, come together to meet. And today I have a hodgepodge of stuff for you before we get to the main event. And I'll just start off now. Let's show some random cards here. This is the Barry Larkin Tombstone Super Pro Series 1994, and this came as a part of the care package that Vintage on Vintage Steve sent me with the Tony Perez 1970 Topps card a little while back. Any day you get a Barry Larkin card is a good day for me. My all-time favorite red. I mean, it's not even close. Probably because I got to watch him play so much. And I remember right here, I remember these red Nike high top cleats he had that he wore back then. I thought that was just the coolest thing. But these are cool cards, and here he is on the back. Notice that they must not have had license to use the Cincinnati emblem, the C or the Reds emblem insignia. But you see his number 11 there, but it's the rest has been airbrushed out. He also sent me this really nice 86 Topps Pete Rose, listed as first base and manager, right after he'd broken the record in 1985 against the San Diego Padres at Riverfront Stadium. I don't remember the exact date. It was sometime, I think, in like August or September that season. But really neat. I may put this in a Z-Mag. We'll see. Here are some cards from my childhood that I've had. I actually pulled these out of, pulled these both out of some sort of Kellogg's product cereal. This one was one I had I really always had an attachment to. And I like the Johnny Bench one too, but it's an older Johnny Bench. But this is a classic Yaz pose here. I believe these are from 1980, the Superstar 3D series. They really are kind of, but you can kind of see a little wavering there. But I'd say these are a lot better than the earlier ones as far as how they reflect. Although the earlier ones are probably like around 1970 and become much more collectible now. From my original collection. Now we got a 1974 Topps Thurman Munson with the big bushy mustache, one for extra effect. We have 1975 Topps Thurman Munson. That mustache is really going down the side now. Definitely handlebar era mustache for him. I just love the background of this card, the beautiful blue sky. Looks like a semi-cool day, and wherever they're somewhere on the Gulf Coast there for spring training. Really like that card. Here's a 1959 Topps Rip Rapolsky. Just a cool name. Says he's with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he's got pinstripes on there, so I'm guessing he was still with, who was it, the Philadelphia Phillies, I think, the year before. It's not focusing too close. I think it is Philadelphia, though. Here is, I don't know, it's a modern card. I'm not sure exactly. Is this a Panini product? It might be. Yeah, it's Panini. Panini Donruss. Of Dan Marino. I think I got this for a quarter, maybe even less. Might have been a throw-in. Just really cool card of one of the greatest all-time quarterbacks I got to watch play. And a J, I believe it's J. Average Vintage Card Collector, or Average Card Collector. Go check him out, sub him up. He is a big Boog Powell fan, and it's just really funny. He had shown a 70 Topps Boog Powell, and I had just picked one up from my LCS the day he had put that video out. This is a nice card. Definitely thinking about Z-magging this up, or I may send this off to the SGC discount for 70s and 80s cards. We'll see. John Wesley Powell. Okay, I will be back in a moment to go into the main event. Okay, so this may crash and burn. I'm not sure. Just sort of haphazardly set this up, but this is my second episode of what I feel is underrated in the hobby as far as cards that we can acquire for relatively inexpensive prices, of Hall of Famers that had super careers, but for some reason perhaps their card values haven't caught up to their career marks. And we're going to talk about Billy Williams today. One of my all-time favorite players, and even though he played for the Cubs, you know, you just can't get away from the infectiousness of his character and his playing ability and the way he carried himself on the field and off of it. So currently I'm reading the book here, his autobiography, sort of, or biography, Billy Williams, My Sweet Swinging Lifetime with the Cubs. Before I get too far, I want to do a shout out to the other Steve, Vintage Card Steve, over in Nebraska. Good dude. He was the first guy to shout me out when I started my channel. I just want to give him some props and some support here. He loves the Cubs, and Billy Williams is one of his favorite players. He is currently working on the player run. He may have gotten it almost complete. And I'm nowhere near there, but I wanted to share some cards, some of my favorite Billy Williams cards. And as I read the book and acquire more of his cards, we'll check back when take a look at more cards. But first off, up here you have the Ron Santo 1970 Topps All-Star card. And that card is there for two particular reasons. Most importantly is he did the foreword. And already what I've read in the book in the first couple chapters of Billy Williams' account of Ron Santo is just strikingly funny. And sounds like he was a larger-than-life character in and out of the clubhouse, and integral part of that 69 run that fell a little short. But I wanted to share this card because, not only because he did the foreword, we're going to talk a little about card condition a little bit here. Not something I want to do that often, but an acknowledgement to Dylan. Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. Dylan, I say it right almost 90% of the time. Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. It just rolls off the tongue. So Dylan out there in beautiful Hawaii had a video on a few months ago, maybe it was a couple months ago, talking about how tough it is to get a centered 1970 Topps All-Star card. And there are some that are just near impossible. And Pete Rose, maybe this is one of the easier ones, I don't know, but he showed a couple examples. I don't remember which players they were, that were just really, really nice. So I wanted to share this one. And it gets Dylan's, I know it's corny. And he hasn't done it well. He hasn't said it, but I'm gonna shake it. So there we go. So let's get to some cards and a little bit about Billy Williams. He was born in Alabama in a town called Whistler, and a very small town. I think he didn't really have much of a high school team to play on, but there was a lot of kids that played on the sandlots there they were quite talented, and scouts, kind of ended up finding him that way. We'll start off first with we saw this in a recent video as Adam, give him a shout out, at the Vintage Sanctuary. Go check him out. He has a video out I haven't checked out yet, but I will, Adam, promise. He has got a killer collection, just like Dylan does. And both of the Steves, they got, just so many cool old cards. But this is the one Adam would call the pristine one. Why is it a one? Again, I don't like talking about it too much. There's why. So there's his Topps 1961 Topps rookie card. It's a beautiful card. And Billy talks immediately, starting off in the book, about his early experiences with in his minor league days, and how he encountered such blatant racism. Just awful stuff. And it discouraged him, and he was like, I'm done, I'm out of here, I'm gonna quit. And I don't remember the name of the scout. First he went home, and his father kind of like talked to him, well, this is your opportunity. You really think this is the best thing to do? But I mean, he supported him. But the scout that had signed him, I cannot remember his name. The Cubs got wind of this, and they sent him down there. He drove all night and drove up to Billy's house, his parents' house, and got out and sat down on the front porch with him and talked to him. Then this guy was really smart. He took Billy to the ball yard where he would play games when he was younger, pickup games, and was out there watching all the kids. And of course, everyone knew that Billy Williams was in the minor leagues for the Cubs organization. They came up to him, Billy, what are you doing home? How's it going? And that worked on him. By the end of the day, or maybe the next day, Billy was like, you know what? I'm going back. And thank goodness that happened. Here's a guy who hit over 500 home runs, did it quietly. I guess he had a swing that looked like just almost as good as King Griffey Jr.'s. I don't think I've seen a more beautiful swing than King Griffey Jr.'s from the left-hand side of the plate. Right-handed guys just look like they're just trying to the ball out of there. But the sweet swing of left-handed hitters, I think that's why we're so enamored with them, and why some of you are high in our steam in our collections. I think we're talking about Ted Williams here, and Joe D, and was Joe D righty or lefty? John P. collects. Tell me if he's a righty or a lefty. I don't remember. But this sweet swinging lefty, here's his 1964 Topps card. One of my favorites. You can see him with the follow through on the swing. Love that stands in the background. The other thing I like about this card is that a lot of those ones had where they were part of the card, part of the head or something would pop out of the top of the card. And not on this one. The image is totally contained. And I'm okay with 64 Topps. I wouldn't say it's my favorite set from the 60s, but I do like its simple design. But I like how that's not popping out there. Then he goes on to talk about the next chapter, the so-called collapse in the 69 season. And there's some concepts in there. It talks about Leo DeRocher coming in as the Cubs manager, and how he came in 1965, kind of lit a fire there to show he was in charge. But they do talk about the collapse of the 69 season. He said, it's not like we didn't try hard. We just all kind of went into a collective slump at the same time. We were probably looking to scoreboard too much, and the Miracle Mets were catching up, and they just had amazing pitching. And we'd win 2 out of 3 games in their series, they'd win 3 out of 3. And he kind of talked about how the fans were just really, really, really supportive of them right up to the very end. And even after that, he said people would come up to him at shows or where he'd see him, he's signing autographs, and would say how much that meant to them, that 69 season meant to them. And he mentions this in the book. I'm not just bringing this up out of the blue. There was a trying and tumultuous time in the United States at that point. In 1969, the Vietnam War is still raging. In fact, that was the high point of American involvement as far as troop commitment goes. There have been riots in the city the year before during the Democratic National Convention in 1968. I think it was the Chicago 7, I think it was what it was, or the Chicago 8. It's always mentioned. Just a tough time. You know, we've gone through tough times before. But here then is, I don't know if it's my favorite of his, but I love the 67 Topps. And here we've got the 67 Topps Billy Williams card. Funny story about the 64 Topps here. This particular 64 Topps that I have came about in an eBay sale last year, and when I opened up the package and I got it, out popped a 64 Henry Aaron. And I was like, wow, okay. Well, clearly this is a mistake. And it was from the same seller. And apparently the seller had mailed off the wrong card to the wrong person. So I emailed him or sent a message through eBay to the seller saying, hey, look, you know, this is probably not the card. This is a great card to get, but this is not the card I ordered, not the card I paid for. Or else I got a super deal, because I think I paid less than $20 for the 64 Billy Williams before tax and shipping. So I think it was like $25 with tax and shipping. I don't recall now, but it was $25 or less total. And I'm sure the Henry Aaron was like close to 100, maybe a little less. I think I looked on the seller's sales and saw that it was there. And so he's like, all right, send it back. I sent it back. He got the other guy to send the Billy Williams back that he'd sold to, and he got it to me and didn't charge me for the shipping. And it's like, no harm, no foul. I just thought that was interesting. That was funny. But I'm looking forward to continue on with the book, and I'll leave you with one more card because I don't want this video to go too long. This was a recent pickup. This will be in my February pickup, so I probably won't include it now because you're seeing it now. 71 Topps Billy Williams. Just a beautiful card. Love the stands in the background. I think they're on the road. I think all these other cards except his rookie card looks like that's at Wrigley Field, because you can see the sign back there. These are definitely on the road somewhere. Not sure where, but he talked about every day until 1974, he was inserted as the third, even from his first day playing, I think, his first major league game, as the third hitter until 1974. And I was hoping to pick up a 74 Topps for this video, but I haven't found one that meets the eye appeal quite yet and the price I wanted to pay. So there you have it. This is my dedication to a very underrated player in the hobby. His cards are very affordable in medium grade. And sometimes you can get some real, just unbelievable eye appeal cards that don't make any sense. But if you don't really care about the back, and it's not that I don't care about the backs, it would be nice to be able to see all of his batting average stats there, but I think this is neat. This is so well preserved in this slab, and there'll be a cherished card in my collection for years to come, I hope. And don't forget about Ron Santo. I have not read the foreword yet. I usually like to read forewords at the end of the story. I want to get the main person's about views and opinions first. So by the point that happens, I'm done with the book. I'll have read that and report back. So until then, until the next video, everyone have a great rest of your weekend, and good night and good luck.